Welcome to the Illuminated Path, where I give you a Thursday to Thursday reading. I'm using a couple of different decks today that I have not used on these particular readings before, so it's going to go in a two-part type deal. The first deck we're going to use is the Dreaming Totem deck. I was guided to the Dreaming Totem deck because everything right now is talking about the shadow aspects of life. We've been talking a lot about shadow work, digging into the deeper aspects of our psyche and full acceptance of self. But this also has to do with our feminine nature. If you think of the yin and the yin is the black part of the yin-yang, the darker parts. That's the feminine nature. It's those deeper energies, those intuitive abilities, the things that we can see on the other side. It's our subtle senses. So through our subtle senses, such as our sight and our feelings and our sensuality, we're able to pick up a lot of what's going on in the shadow realms and bring it into the light, to accept it, to love it, to grow it. So when we're looking at those shadow realms, it's not just about shadow work. This is also about dream work and what begins to come up in the dreams. So I pulled two cards from this dream deck. And the first one I got is weariness. Weariness. There's so much going on that you might be feeling tired. Like, I just can't keep going on like this anymore. And when we start to really pick that apart, what it comes down to is that we have to be there for ourselves. We have to make ourselves a safe space. We have to make our homes a safe space. We have to be the ones to say, I see what's actually happening here, and enough is enough, and I'm going to do this thing for myself, for my home, for my family, to make my space better and to make my community better. And it's that love in action. I'm going to do this to make the world a better place, one little step at a time. And weariness, tiredness is usually the first step to bring our focus and our attention there. We go from being, I'm so tired of this, to actively making changes to make whatever is making us so tired just stop. We can't keep living that way. And that's what that drain is telling us. That drain is saying we can't keep living this way. There's something to this. And I will say this is my second take of this video because of course, when we're talking about shadows and dreams and the subtle natures, there's actually not much sun outside. It's cloudy and rainy. I've got an umbrella up here over the bush, and the first place I sat apparently was in this huge ant bed, and so now my feet are all bit up. So I was like, and I had to move. So things are coming up out of the ground, right? Because it wasn't actually an above ground ant bed. It was just a bunch of leaves that apparently all of these ants swarmed out from under. Everything's coming to the surface. The things that are down in the darkness are coming up, and that's how dreams help us. When we dream, this is our psyche taking out the trash, right? It's our psyche bringing to our awareness things that maybe we're not really looking at during our waking time. It's saying, hey, this is actually how we feel. This is something that's happening, and it's happening in you. So be aware of what's happening in you. That's what dreams do. The second dream card I pulled is richness. This one is talking about searching deeper, going further, not pulling away from our dreams or our negative emotions or our worries. It's about digging into them and understanding why they exist. It's understanding why we feel worried, why we're afraid, what is there really that can hurt us, and deciding how we can take that action to make it change. So this is about being aware of our drains, aware of our triggers, aware of our worries and fears, digging deep into them to understand more about ourselves, and then taking active change to create something new. Now, part 2 of this reading I pulled from the Crystal Wisdom deck. So this is giving us those positive, this is the light aspects, right? So the dream deck was bringing in the yin part, that darker part, that shadow part. And the crystal deck is bringing in the yang parts, the light parts, the bright parts, those things. And remember, when I talk like this, dark does not mean negative, light does not mean positive. These are very neutral energies that fit together in a beautiful way. So the first one that came out is the rhodochrosite. Rhodochrosite, if you don't know what this is, you can Google it. That's how you spell it, rhodochrosite. It's like a pinkish stone. It's dark with pink on it. And this one talks about self-acceptance. Any type of crystal with pink is going to bring you right to your heart space, right? Hearts. It's going to bring you right to your heart space. And this is about self-acceptance, which is everything that shadow work is about. It's about learning about yourself, digging deep into yourself, and accepting and loving everything that there is inside of you. And rhodochrosite is saying this is what we need right now. Right now, the biggest change that can happen is you loving yourself, fully accepting yourself. And this says, I fully accept myself and know that I am worthy of great things in life. Only when we fully accept who we are, how we are, and all parts of us, are we able to take that in an empowered way and move forward with it. Because as long as we are leaving parts of us behind, as long as we are trying to cut off certain parts of who we are, we're always going to be in an inner battle. And that is like a 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of situation. The second card is azurite. Azurite is a beautiful blue stone, and this is talking about your expanded awareness. Through taking all of the steps that we just talked about, your awareness becomes huge. And when you have the capacity to understand all aspects of self, all aspects of your personal power, then you begin to understand all aspects of accepting other people and accepting the universe and your community, and you get into a space of oneness, you get into a space of connectivity, and this is where we all need to be in order to move forward collectively in a space of expanded awareness. And this card says, my awareness is expanding with an abundance of clarity. If you think of that blue color, you know, most people think of the throat with blue, but this is an indigo space, which is more third eye. And when this is very open and aware of what's going on, the third eye space teaches us how to be in the present moment and how to see clearly, how to observe without emotion attached to it. And that is where we need to be. That is Zen meditation, right? Because we tend to observe things, but then make a judgment about those things, create a belief inside of ourselves about those things, and that brings an emotion, that attaches emotion to what we're seeing. And the reason we do that is because we're human, and we want to make sure that we're safe with the thing that we're seeing, and we want to make sure that we fit in with the thing that we're seeing. How is this part of me? Is how we observe everything. And that's what you're doing with the shadow realms and with the rhodochrosite. But by the time you get to the azurite, you get to say, I observe that thing for whatever it is, without attachment, without emotion, without judgment, without bringing it back to it being about me. And I can fully accept what's happening and see it clearly for simply what it is. And the reason we have to see things clearly for just what it is because when we bring it back to ourselves over and over, it becomes a matter of ego, and then it attaches to our own fear. But if we can see what's happening clearly for simply what it is, then we can have clear guidance on what to do about it. If it's unethical, we can have clear guidance about what we are and are not capable of changing. We can have clear guidance about what we are supposed to do, what is our role in that, because we have clear guidance that it's not about us. There's a difference here, and this is a beautiful space to be in, and it takes practice, it takes work. Maybe you won't get all that done just this week, but that was this week's reading. Thanks for showing up. Bye.